interesting how when you're hiding behind a screen, you're able to be so blatantly racist? And yet, the irony of people who most definitely are at some point in their generational lineage or another, in fact, immigrants as well. Now, I believe a lot of companies will fire and have very strong ramifications for the types of public opinions that individuals who represent their companies are sharing on a public forum. And it's also interesting to note that the moderators of this group let the thread go on for quite some time before they usually end up turning off the comments. So, why is racism so prevalent behind closed doors? Well, it simply comes to the fact that people love scapegoating. Psychological phenomenon that occurs when we're facing hardship, stress, fear, is we always want to play the blame game. And usually it's the easiest to ostracize and marginalize those who are already facing uphill battles and hardships by being ethnic minorities and having the lower hand by being immigrants to a country, newer immigrants than you may be. And that is where all their trials and tribulations end up being scapegoated. But what this really doesn't allow to happen is a personal growth and evolution of actually righting the wrongs that are the reason that someone may be so unhappy as to have racist opinions. And really, you're only self sabotaging because by hiding behind the veil of saying everything that's wrong in the city I live in or the province I live in or the country I live in is because of immigrants, because of people whose color of skin doesn't match mine, is only keeping your own self behind in life and not allowing your lineage and your cultural group or societal group to progress and grow and evolve past a lot of the things that you might be complaining about. Punjabi Canadians own the majority of businesses in the lower mainland, which means they are responsible for creating numerous jobs. They have huge tax revenue. The diversity and contributions in the educational realm, in the social realm, are countless. They definitely add more value to the lower mainland society than anything they subtract. Our brain is also wired to have confirmation bias. So once you have seen an outlier displaying poor behavior, like whatever you all are outlining in the comment section of this very, very racist thread, is most definitely going to stick out in your brain, and you'll now be scanning your environment looking for more and more people confirming this bias and prejudice and stereotyping and racist belief that you have in your mind and in your heart. And then your racist notions are only getting reinforced and reinforced. So once you have that seed of hate planted in your heart, it's only going to bloom and grow, and you're going to go, see, I knew it. They're the problem. That's the reason the housing crisis is where it's at. That's the reason I'm so unhappy and miserable in my own life. But really, you just sometimes got to take a step back and evaluate what's really going on in your heart, mind, body, and soul, and in the world around you. And are you maybe coming at this with too much of a bias and tunnel vision and very narrow minded thinking that's only hindering your own growth and progress in a societal, collective, and individualistic manner? I chatted a little bit about where racism comes from. It comes from our psyche and our desire to avoid looking at our own shortcomings, insecurities, unmet needs. We're just projecting and displacing. It's easier to pinpoint and target the little guy rather than taking a look in the mirror and seeing where our own kind of growth and work needs to be done. But on a bigger scale, why is racism problematic and why Facebook should do a better job of moderating this kind of stuff, or whoever the group leaders that allow for this type of dialogue to go on for hours on end, is because racism is very impactful to the community that's being targeted's mental health. It really ostracizes, shuns, and causes exclusion and isolation. And let's say if somebody's already struggling and down and out, and then they come across a post like this, it's really going to hinder their ability to choose adaptive coping mechanisms. And feeling hated for reasons beyond your control is really just not being a good human being. So a lot of times people are being complete hypocrites when they work at companies that most definitely have anti-racism and bigotry policies, but in their personal life, they are absolutely 100% to a T, a clearly defined racist. So even if you feel like it's okay and to be doing this on social media and it's not real life, the people reading this stuff and feeling attacked and antagonized and bullied and targeted are real human beings. So I implore you all to think twice before you leave these types of hate comments. One way or another, it'll end up coming back to you. And as a society, as a collective, if we can all look more at the things that tether us together as human beings, rather than these labels and categories and ways that we divide ourselves from one another, I think the world would be a much better place. What are your thoughts and feelings? Have you guys ever come across a thread like this? Do you guys bother to add to the dialogue, or do you just scroll on past and let it be like water rolling off your back? Let me know.